Boop. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to kind of a surprise. Barry's welcoming the audience.
Yeah.
Kind of a surprise D23, Destination D23 live stream. Barry and I kind of came up with this last minute to kind of do a stream, kind of go over everything.
Because we were surprised by how much was announced today.
Sort of. I mean, there was a lot of stuff teased. Yeah. But anyways, we figured we'd jump up here on the YouTube, and apparently I threw up the Twitch too. So, Figgy, hello. How you doing? I kind of said to everybody in the chat, let us know. Was there anything you guys were most excited for at the Destination D23 panel today? We're gonna bring up our Twitter feed because I was live tweeting it as it was happening, kind of posting all the updates and everything. And so yeah, without further ado, we're gonna get going here. Yeah, apologies for first of all, I was gonna try and do our HHN live stream this week, and then Barry got sick and people were at Horror Nights and it just didn't work out. So look for that next Tuesday. We're going to be doing it then. So
we forgot It's Horror Nights, and we have to pretty much switch the show to Tuesday for the rest of Horror Nights.
Yeah, because everybody's at Horror Nights on Tuesday or on Wednesdays, Thursday, Fridays, and Sundays. So, all right.
I would have been there if I wasn't sick. So
yeah. So, all right. Let's kick it off here. Obviously, Josh D'Amaro came out on stage. He started off with a few announcements, kind of small-ish. He announced that the new Asha character from the new movie coming out later this year, Wish, will be coming to EPCOT, Disneyland, and Disneyland Paris. Nothing really announced where she's. I don't know where she would be meeting at.
I don't know
where
she's going to be meeting at. I mean, They have some different spaces they can definitely use, and I think this is good. I feel like, one of the things we complain is like, some of these meet and greets from new animated movies. It used to happen all the time, and it felt like for a while there, Disneyland was getting them, and then we wouldn't get them. And at least now they seem to be going back to like, let's have the newest Disney main character meet at all three, the three major resorts, Paris, Disneyland, and here. So I think it's good. Just like we have the Little Mermaid, the live action Little Mermaid over at Hollywood Studios, which is that still going on? I think she's still there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's still there. And then it was announced that Ahsoka will be becoming a part of Star Tours at Disneyland, Disney World, and Disneyland Paris as well. So this was kind of a unexpected announcement. I think this is one of the cool things that they announced. Ahsoka coming to being added to the Star Tours attraction. Another update for the Star Tours attractions. What do you think about this, Barry?
No, I think it's good. I mean, we were teased back at Star Wars Celebration. I think she's just part of some of the updates that Star Tours is getting, which I still love going on Star Tours. One of the reasons I loved it is because you never know what you're going to get on Star Tours, and having her in it now, and I imagine we're going to eventually, as time comes closer, we're going to see more and more announcements of characters eventually appearing in locations. That they've also talked about that there will be new locations in Star Tours. So
yeah,
I'm excited for there. Even though for 5 seconds I was like, "Oh, he's going to say she's coming, to Galaxy's Edge here next spring," and it was like, "Nope."
I honestly thought that was the announcement, is that she's going to be coming to Disney World like next year or something like that. But nope, she's going to be coming to Star Tours at Disney World, Disneyland Paris, and Disneyland. So
no, I think like we've talked on here before, I think we have to wait for Galaxy Star Cruiser to finally do its last voyage before we might start seeing
more characters here. And then Dave Goelz came out on stage celebrating 50 years with the Walt Disney Company. Can we just talk about the amount of Muppets they had in this presentation?
Oh, it was so awesome. I mean, I know some people were disappointed. Oh, well, maybe there was going to be a Muppets announcement. It's like, no, it's like, I understand that, but it was just great. I think the only thing was, why did they only have 2 cameras for this presentation? Could they not afford a third camera that was staged?
Are you talking about the awkward camera zooms?
Yeah,
when they came out with the Muppets of the Puppeteers.
Yeah, which I mean, I'm totally fine seeing the Puppeteers. We've seen years of live appearances, with them where you see the Puppeteers. You know, I mean,
but
it's.
The crazy zoom-ins showed you that they didn't want people to see it on the live stream.
No,
so it was like.
I think that's one thing I feel like they could have framed up a little bit. That was the one thing that came off a little amateurish during the live stream.
Was
it's
weird.
Like, was there not a third camera that they didn't have, like, you know, set
Zoomed
up
in,
and
ready to go,
locked down for the Muppet shots? And it's just like, But it was great. It was great seeing Kermit, Piggy, you know, Uncle Deadly, who's really become one of my favorite Muppets, especially in the last like 10, 15 years. But yeah, it was great to honor him. I mean, he is one of the fewer original Muppet performers left.
I was gonna say there's not too many original Puppeteers left.
You know, he's one of the few left. He's one of the originals, and I mean, who doesn't love Gonzo? Everybody loves Gonzo. So
yeah, like, I loved. I think Damaro asked him like what his favorite Muppet was to perform.
Yeah.
And I think he said when he does Gonzo, he's like, Gonzo can say anything. Like, he's like, it's Gonzo.
I've never heard anybody go, yeah, I don't really like Gonzo.
Yeah.
You know, everybody loves Gonzo. It was great to see them there. You know, anytime the Muppets get used for anything, I am a happy person. So.
Yeah. And then we kind of started getting a recap of all the construction happening around all the Disney parks around the world. We got a really beautiful look at the World of Frozen coming to Hong Kong Disneyland. I cannot believe how gorgeous this land looks.
At night, it looks amazing, and the Oaken's Oaken's Frozen, the bear, whatever, the Snow White Mine Train clone that they're getting. I mean, just seeing the lighting on that thing, it already makes ours look like,
yeah.
We haven't even seen like the attraction part of it. No, it looks very good, and you know, there's some people discussing online. It's like, you know, could this eventually come to like Fantasyland? You know, out in Disneyland or something like that, or it's because, you know, Hong Kong's getting this, you know, Paris, which we also saw, is pretty much getting an almost a close. I think they're getting the attraction and the part of this. You know, they're not getting the coaster. It's impressive. I'm, you know.
All this nighttime footage they showed during this pre-recorded segment with
and we're saying this now. Now, come next spring, that may all change once we see Tokyo's.
What Tokyo has up their sleeve,
which we saw a little bit. It wasn't. We only saw a couple of new pieces of artwork and shots in Tokyo's. I think the biggest thing that came out of that is that the Fantasy Springs Hotel will now be the most luxurious hotel at Tokyo Disney, which is mind-blowing when I've been inside the Miracosta, and it is the most jaw-dropping Disney hotel you've ever seen, on top of having, you know, the greatest views ever from a Disney hotel. Yeah. So,
but then, like you said, we got some stuff. We got a small update from Tokyo. I think they showed, like you said, they showed Paris's.
Yeah, they showed progress. The progress with Tangled and Frozen, and I mean, basically everything they're going to build around that giant new lake back there. That's going to totally change that park, which has been, you know, from everyone I know who's ever been there, way past due that they needed.
Hey, David, welcome to the stream. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate you.
It's always been sort of the stepchild of all the parks. So
yeah, no, it's great to see Paris getting some much needed some TLC, the Disney Studio Park at least. Yeah. And then we moved on to Mr. Hatbox Ghost, and I think this is where what's the Muppet's name?
Uncle Deadly.
Uncle Deadly came out, and they started talking about Haunted Mansion.
And Gonzo came out, yeah.
Yeah, and we got a few more details about the Haunted Mansion. We got this new concept artwork piece, which basically confirmed his location in the endless hallway in the Haunted Mansion at Magic Kingdom. It looks like, according to this picture, they're going to be installing a door there.
Yeah.
And
So,
he's going to be there with his Hatbox doing his thing.
So us two being incredibly mind-blowingly huge, Haunted Mansion fans. I basically have my bedroom is, spooky / Haunted Mansion, and God knows how many Haunted Mansion pieces between us that we have.
Too many
in our house. What'd you think about the backstory that they bent over backwards to come up
with why he's there and he's not one of the materialized.
He's not in the the big pile of hat boxes in the attic.
Well, they basically played off the new movie, and for those of you that haven't seen the new movie with Jared Leto, who plays the Hatbox Ghost,
and there's a lot of people who haven't seen the new movie.
Yeah, they're kind of playing. I mean, the Hatbox Ghost that we're getting isn't based off of him, but they're going with that lore that the Hatbox Ghost is this. He's his own thing. He does what he wants. He's not one of the 999 happy haunts. He can go where he wants in the mansion, when he wants to. The rules don't apply to him, type of deal. So I get it. Where I would have rather had seen him, I don't know why they just didn't place him in the attic like they did at Disneyland. There's plenty of room when you kind of go up into the attic before you get to the bride. I think they could have fit him in there. But I'm curious to see. I'm remaining optimistic. I'm curious how he's going to look, because that endless hallway scene is so iconic. I just don't want that scene to be ruined. We'll
never know. Like, there's a logistical reason why it couldn't go in our attic. Obviously at Disneyland's, the original one was there for, a brief amount of time. And also to remember, not every single Haunted Mansion is the same. They are all different. They all have their unique qualities. Even Tokyo's, which is basically based on ours, still has a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
The different things than ours is. So it's I'm hoping it'll work good there. I mean, I'm happy we're finally getting him, because we've known for years that there was going to be at least two of them. And I think I'm fine with it. I think you and I are more like, so when we finally going to update that attic scene again, because the bride looks awful.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of the bride when they redid her to constant. I just no. I've never been a fan.
I mean, you and I ride that attraction so much. It's like we're just like, it's been, God, how many years now has it been since that last major refurb? And we're like, it's getting about time to shut that ride down for a few months and upgrade some things and tech wise and everything. And
there was a lot of discussion too about that when the installation of the Hatbox Ghost was going to occur, that would happen, that it would be a lengthy, multi-month closure. But no, they're installing him right now. They're getting ready for him. And they have we've seen the pictures and the videos inside the Haunted Mansion. There's a giant black curtain up, in the endless hallway room. So they're they're doing all this work probably after hours, I'm guessing.
I know, it's interesting to see how long it's taking them just to install him in that location. And it's
well, there's probably infrastructure that they got to install underneath him, and all the hydraulics and all that jazz. So
no, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, we hear, at Disney World here, they do tons of maintenance overnight. I mean, they do it at every Disney park, but ours more so because our attractions really don't go down for refurbishments the way Disneyland's do.
Yeah,
and I would say almost all the other Disney parks do. So it's interesting that they're doing this after hours, but like I said, come November, it would have been funny if they could have timed it a little better and started earlier in the year. But come November, we'll have the Hatbox Ghost, and I'm definitely excited for that.
Yeah, and like Barry said, he will be making his debut. They said late November, so
yeah,
we'll have Hatbox Ghost for Thanksgiving. So all right. Next, they kind of bounced over to Disneyland, and they teased the ride vehicle for the new e-ticket attraction coming to Avengers Campus. Not much else was revealed about this attraction. Disney still being very tight-lipped about it.
Yeah, I mean, how many teases have we had for this attraction now?
Yeah.
And that ride vehicle looks very Spider-Man-y.
It does. Yeah.
I mean, whether if they're going to once again go, there's been a lot of talk, with once they revealed Zootopia, it's like Disney seems to be obsessed with trackless rides, and there's some things that are good about trackless rides, and then there's some things that aren't great about trackless rides.
Yeah.
And I almost hope that this is on a track.
Yeah.
So this everything will be a little bit tighter than your average trackless ride, but it's got very Spider-Man vibes, and it gave some of the things they said in that tease makes it sound like that maybe the same exact thing will not happen every single time you ride this attraction.
Yeah, because weren't they saying a lot about like jumping between like different I forgot what the exact verbiage is.
Different times or different universes.
Different universes, yeah. Like you could almost like jump the multiverse with this thing.
Yeah, they've sort of had teased last time that this would be sort of a multiversal attraction, and but there's some other thing they said about you never know which superheroes might be there, so it's like. So is this going to be sort of randomized, and you never know depending on which universe you might end up having to jump to and stuff which I would be all for. I would love to finally see a large scale e-ticket where what happens every time isn't exactly the same every time.
Yeah,
that to me would be. I mean, that's what. I feel like hopefully we've been building to with, we've got simulators now where it's not the same thing every time. I would love to finally see an e-ticket where not the same thing happens every time, especially on these, these action type of attractions. I mean, as much as I love Rise of the Resistance, it would be cool if something little bit different happened every time.
Yeah, I mean, just like
certain parts of it.
Imagine riding like Spider-Man Islands of Adventure, and every ride you get like a different villain or something, or just some little changes or something like that. So, but yeah, we got this teaser image. It wasn't a video; it was just this teaser image of the ride vehicle for the e-ticket attraction coming to Avengers Campus. Again, nothing was really announced, no details, no time frame for construction. They teased it away. And then we jumped back over here to Disney World. And
probably the first really big surprise of the whole event.
Yeah, Country Bear Jamboree will be getting a major update next year. They unveiled this new poster. It says Country Bear Musical Jamboree. It's got all the bears on it, and I believe somebody said that one of them's getting renamed.
Liver Lips.
Liver Lips, yeah. Terrence, is that him right there? Terrence Shaker?
No, it's
Romeo.
Romeo
McGraw. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, they announced that a big update, and they basically said that the update is going to be the Country Bear Jamboree singing iconic songs, and I think either at the presentation or in the video that they played, Bare Necessities was played.
Yeah, they're using Nashville artists to come up with country versions of different Disney songs. Listen, I know some people are upset, but based on if you've looked on social media and a lot of people who are really in the know, it was either this or they're going to shutter this thing. It's just, I still love it, you know, but I've been going there since I was a little child. So it's like, I still enjoy the show, and it's always nice to sit down and relax for a little bit. But I've been in that attraction on some of the busiest days at that park, and it's never full. And so if this gets people to go see the Country Bears again, and if it also if they're going to also, hopefully, fingers crossed, give that attraction some TLC, because those animatronics in that attraction need it. Especially, you know, going and seeing the Tokyo version where they keep the Country Bears are, I mean, the Country Bears are so huge at the Tokyo Disney one, you know, that they have 2 theaters there and they're packed.
Yeah.
All day long. And they still run all 3 original shows. And that's the other thing. Hopefully, if this does well, maybe we'll finally get the Christmas show back. You know, I would love. People seem to forget we had the Christmas show for the longest time. And you know, maybe if they give this attraction some TLC and it becomes popular again, maybe that'll be the impetus to finally bring Christmas back. Because I would love to see the Christmas show here, because it's probably the best. It's my favorite Country Bear show. So.
And here's a quicker look at the poster that they unveiled. So yeah, big update. No other details were announced. I think they just said next year. They didn't give a time frame of next year when this update will be coming to the Country Bears Jamboree. So as soon as we hear more, we'll obviously.
No, and I'm assuming we'll get an announcement when it's going to close, and so everybody will have, you know, be able to get in their one last blood on the saddle. And
yep. And then the next announcement, this was kind of a cool surprise. A new tavern is coming to Adventureland and Magic Kingdom, and it'll be based on the Pirates of the Caribbean attraction. And the Barker bird that has not been seen, that was, I believe he was on the outside of the attraction, right?
Yeah, he used to be on the outside of the attraction.
Over there where the crow's nest was and all that.
He was on the corner. He was like right at the entrance, I think.
That's right. I think he was like right there, like right as you walked in.
Yeah, he was right as you walked in.
Yep. But a new tavern will be coming to Adventureland, themed to Pirates of the Caribbean. And kind of studying this artwork a little bit closer, it looks like this will be going in the former Pirates League, which is no longer in operation. So
it's interesting that they're choosing there, because you know there's Tortuga Tavern across that is rarely open, and when it is open doesn't exactly serve the greatest food. But it's also an interesting choice because, you know, some people have talked like, what are they going to do with Pecos Bill? Are they going to keep it? Or are they going to retheme it to some Tiana? Because, you know, we've all you know, have said, great, Tiana attraction's coming. Where's the beignets going to be? Where are we going to be able to get beignets? Because we better be getting beignets. Because
speaking of, Tiana's Palace opened up over Disneyland, and it looks fantastic. Food looks great.
It looks to me, you know,
not to get off subject.
It definitely looks like an improvement. And everyone I've talked to, the couple people I've talked to who've been there, were there for the preview, says it's a major improvement over. It was the Market restaurant. I'm going blank on what it used to be. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm all for more Pirates of the Caribbean and using spaces that are sitting empty. I mean, we all remember Adventureland Veranda sat empty for years before we finally got the awesome Skipper Canteen restaurant. So it's like, I'm hoping, you know, this could be another fun addition, and I'm all for more, you know, fun, unique items that no other Disney park has, which we don't always get here in Disney World. So
we usually get the short end of the stick over here on the East Coast. So this was a cool little surprise. This new tavern. I don't think they announced a time frame. They just announced that it was coming. So as soon as we hear more, we'll bring it to you.
We'll pretty much know when they start working on it. It's not.
Yeah, exactly. And then moving over to EPCOT, they announced that World Celebration will finally be opening this December at EPCOT, and hopefully this will be the end to construction wall mania at EPCOT.
It has been years.
We were there. Excuse me. We were there with the kids doing the the Journey of Water Moana thing, and I was like, I'm just so over these construction walls. Like,
it's been so long, and it's just.
But yeah, World Celebration, that whole pretty much backside of Spaceship Earth, will be opening this December at EPCOT. Barry, anything you wanted to add to this, or we can move on?
No, I'm excited. You got to experience Journey of Water, which we can talk about another time. But it's they revealed a few more design details at the EPCOT panel later in the day, and there's going to be a really, really beautiful mural as part of this. And I think in the end, even though for those of us who like symmetry, it still freaks us out to look at the center of EPCOT now behind the map. But I think in the end, it's going to be a nice addition, and it's going to bring a new life to that area. And we're going to get some there's some new things to do, and I'm all for more trees. It's not going to get any cooler here, so more shade and more trees. I think that's the one thing I think we all get on Imagineering and Universal Creative whenever they open stuff new. It's like, did you guys think about shade? Shade. Yeah,
we live in Florida.
It's like, look at Toy Story Land. Yeah, it's like there's a reason there's like 100 umbrellas all over that land. So it's like,
and then staying on the EPCOT train, we got the official opening date for Journey of Water inspired by Moana. That will be opening up October 16th. And like I just said, I was able to go out there for the preview with the wife and kids, got to check it out. I liked it. It's really cool. I just don't think it's just weird being in EPCOT. I have this, it just doesn't feel right in EPCOT because don't get me wrong, they did a fantastic job with the Journey of Water thing, making it feel like you're not in EPCOT until you kind of get over to the side and you see Spaceship Earth right there. And it's like, oh, hi, we're in EPCOT.
I feel like if this thing had been more spread out to different sections of World Nature, the World Nature neighborhood, I think it might have felt more better integrated instead of being just like one walkthrough that you go through. If it would have been like just sections, I understand wanting to keep it as a walkthrough to keep it thematically coherent, but it's I almost feel like if they would have just really blown up that section of the neighbor of Future World and really created like a nature thing that went through all of World Nature, I think that might have been a better use. But look, I mean, kids are gonna love it. It's gonna be a beautiful place to walk through.
It's really beautiful. It's gorgeous.
And a place that there was a building there and an area. And I guess that's the other thing I like about with the World Celebration areas. It was just all concrete before.
Yeah.
Yes, you had the Fountain of Nations, which yes, when it was built, it was a really unique, one of a kind fountain. But nowadays, it really wasn't. There wasn't really anything that unique about it. I mean, it was showing its age. It was showing its age. I'm sure some of these. You got to remember some of these things also have to deal with infrastructure too. But I think especially now, I think having an area that's going to be heavily, fingers crossed, we see the final version, heavily shaded and over what was just a concrete, wide open area before.
Yeah.
I think once we see it, I think it's going to be improvement. And like I said, unfortunately, it's taken way longer than we thought it would. But yeah, I mean, I'm all for the construction walls to be finally down. I mean, we've talked before. We're not happy about the stuff that's been canceled because in the end, it feels like we really didn't get anything out of all this except for Ratatouille. So it's. I hope eventually they're going to do something about where the Play Pavilion was going to go, and they're going to add another attraction to World Showcase because it needs it.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think this, we've gotten a lot of really good things out of this. Like I said, we don't really know we knew those buildings. They weren't. A lot of them weren't. The Communicore buildings weren't in good condition, especially the ones on that side, or have had a lot of issues. So it's. I'm happy we finally got some dates, and we're finally at least drawing to into close to construction here.
Yeah. And they also announced that Moana will be. I'm guessing because Moana meets at Animal Kingdom right now, so I'm guessing they're gonna end that and bring her over to EPCOT. She will be.
They didn't say that, but I'm going to assume that.
Yeah.
Even though she's popular enough that she could definitely have 2 meet and greets.
Yeah.
But we're also not Disneyland. They don't.
Yeah. But they announced that Moana will be part of. She will be meeting inside the Journey of Water inspired by Moana attraction.
Yeah, she'll have her own specific area where her meet and greet will be.
I was trying to put together where this concept artwork piece was in the. There's several little nooks and crannies in the whole area, so it's probably going to be one of those. And then as you see up here on our Twitter, I filmed the full walkthrough of the Journey of Water inspired by Moana. So if you want to check that out on our YouTube channel, you can do that as well. So keeping on the Epcot train, we got the name for the new nighttime spectacular that will be replacing Harmonious. We're keeping with the Us theme. We're going Luminous, the Symphony of Us. Lots of Us. Harmonious, Luminous, the Symphony of Us.
I will say this title has more of an Illuminations, Reflections of Earth feel to it than Harmonious did.
Yeah. Why do you think I posted on my personal Twitter? Please let this be Illuminations 2.0.
I mean, it's going to be Disney songs. They've sort of said that. Whether I fingers crossed, there's at least an original song for the show. I think that's the one thing where as much as I grew to like Harmonious, I think it was the one thing that was really lacking with that show is it didn't have an original song.
Original, yeah,
because even Disney Enchantment had a song for the show. Happily Ever After has become one of the most popular Disney theme park songs out there.
But
so
nothing hit like We Go On by from Illuminations.
It doesn't even have to be that level. But if they, I hope there's at least an original song created for the show. This show, basically fountains, which from what we've seen with some of the construction, there's going to be fairly they may not take up the space the taco barges are, but there's going to be some fairly large fountain barges for this show, because they are pylons they're putting in. But these barges will obviously move in and out every night. Lasers, lighting. Unfortunately, no mention of drones, unless they're keeping that quiet. But from everything that we keep hearing from people, even though Epcot would be the perfect place to use drones, nothing has been mentioned about drones. So it's I'm excited. I mean, we unfortunately got to wait till December, but at least we got a date now, and I gotta imagine soon here we're gonna start seeing testing going on late at night. People over in Boardwalk and Beach Club will be seeing stuff happening at night. So
Luminous, the Symphony of Us, will be debuting December 5th at Epcot. So I'm definitely excited. It seems like with this show, they're obviously the taco barges, the giant ring. Harmonious was so over the top nuts. It seems like with this show, they're kind of toning it down. They're bringing it kind of a happy medium between Illuminations and Harmonious. So we'll have to see. I
mean, Harmonious suffered from sightline issues.
Yeah.
But it looks like the one thing we did get out of Harmonious is those 9-shot cannons all around the lagoon, which is probably like you and me. That's like our favorite moment in the whole show is when those cannons start going off. And it's like, as long as that's still part of the show somewhere, sign me up, because that to me is Harmonious is as much as it had its issues. It had some of my favorite moments in a Disney nighttime show that were just jaw-dropping and amazing.
It was a beautiful show. It really was. But
if you could watch it from the certain specific spots, it was an amazing show. But the problem is at Epcot you need a show that can be seen from all around the lagoon. So here's fingers crossed that this brings us back to something that, as much as I loved Illuminations, it did drag in parts. Hopefully this will be some sort of fine mix between, like you said, between Harmonious and Illuminations to bring us a more a modern day level show. So.
Yep. All right, moving on. We're still in Epcot. They really rolled out the Epcot updates and news. This was probably the biggest shock for me, I have to say.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people posting this on Twitter that this was probably the biggest surprise for a lot of people at the Destination D23 panel today. A third reimagining of Test Track was announced today, and I don't have it up. And they said they quoted. Give me a second here. I'll actually pull it up. Unless you have it up there in front of you, Barry. The Epcot. Here it is. Epcot.
Oh, the article. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me a second here. Sorry, folks. They said the Disney Imagineers, along with teams from Chevrolet, are taking inspiration from the original World of Motion attraction to bring that attraction's spirit of optimism to the next version of Test Track. More will be released in the future. So the fact that they're going back to World of Motion for this update, that really got a lot of hardcore, old school Epcot fans really excited where they're going to go with this. And you can see the concept artwork here in the background. It looks like it's a very woodsy, outdoorsy type area. This looks like the part where you're kind of weaving back and forth
up the hill. Yeah.
Up the hills. Yeah. So, I'll be very, very curious to see where they go with this update. I've never been a huge fan of when they did 2.0 Tron Track, as everybody calls it. It was a very bare bones update.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot of sustenance added to it. It was a very, I don't know. I still love the ride. It's still fun to ride. My kids love to ride it. So clearly, the aesthetics don't bother them. But the original Test Track, which I also rode, with the whole, crash testing the car. Yeah. I loved that version. And then they went with this green energy efficient update. Yeah. Aesthetically, it just didn't do it for me with all the neon stuff. It looks, Tron Track. That's what everybody was calling it.
Yeah.
So what do you think of this, Barry?
Oh no, I'm excited. This, like you said, this came out of left field. I didn't even, you and I keep pretty heavy track of rumors and stuff. This came out of nowhere.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting this.
I mean, some things, part of it, I could see because, if you know anything about Test Track, it breaks down a lot.
It does.
In the last few years, and it's been in need for a major overhaul, which I imagine will be part of this redo. Is that track and those vehicles need a complete overhaul, and maybe they may be at the point where they may finally be replacing the vehicles with the new with the newer ones that were used for cars. That they've. Something newer. They've been. Those are still pretty much the same cars they've had. Just the idea that they're going to use World of Motion as inspiration, which I imagine maybe we see this tree scene in the concept art, but maybe we'll see some. World of Motion was about transportation through the ages. Mm-hmm. Maybe we'll see some of that return because there's a lot of space in those rooms. Especially Test Track 2.0 really showed how much more space there is in the attraction. We can go back and forth over the year. Anyone who knows about the construction of Test Track, in the end, it's like they ended up spending so much money retrofitting that building that they literally could have kept World of Motion and just built Test Track next to it.
Yeah.
It's anything that brings maybe a little bit more of something, that's old school Epcot, I'm all for. And especially that first part of the ride is not very exciting. It's pretty boring. And if you can have stuff to look at instead, and with a narrative story, maybe that'd be a lot more entertaining. You can still build to the exciting thrill at the end, because that's the best part of the whole attraction is once you exit the doors and go and run and do the lap around outside. I would rather have a bunch of stuff, to look at and telling a coherent story.
Sure.
Something along the lines of what World of Motion used to do than what we've got now, which I think, we're finally going to leave. It'll be interesting to see I'm assuming if they keep the test track name, because, the testing thing, it doesn't work anymore. It's just.
That's a good point. Yeah, I don't know if they'll keep the test track name.
And 2.0 was already dated from the moment they put it in.
It did not age well.
No, it aged even worse than the original version of the attraction did. So
here's a better image. Here's a better look at the concept artwork that they released for Epcot. Yeah, this is clearly the part where, because I'm guessing that bright light right there in the middle is the truck that almost hits you.
Yeah.
Because you go up there in that area. So I'm very curious where they're going with this whole retheme.
They've got plenty of room in there to do something new and much more impressive than what's been in there in the past.
And then we got some Disney Cruise Line news, which I'll kind of breeze through here really quick. We got a name for the new area of the island, Lighthouse Point. The area that you're going to be going to is going to be called Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point. Not too many more details were announced about that. And then they gave an update on the construction of the Disney Treasure ship. You can see kind of right here in the kind of left-hand corner where my cursor is, or right-hand side. This is going to be the Grand Hall right here, right smack dab in the middle of the ship that they're currently building. So looks like the Treasure's moving along pretty nice. Which, by the way, all the details. Where's my Haunted Mansion bar, Disney?
I think they still got a few things to announce for that.
Yeah, you could tell that they were holding back some things with the Disney Treasure reveal that they did earlier this week. I could tell that they were, but everything that they announced was really cool. The 20,000 Leagues bar, everything sounded. The Disney. I haven't been on the Wish personally, but from what several people have said, it's a very. I've had some people use the term sterile. It's a very bland ship. It seems like the Treasure is going to be a much more vibrant and colorful and, lack of a better term, alive ship. But I've heard so many friends that have gone on the Wish just say it's a very sterile. It's a very bland. Some people are like, no, it's elegant. I'm like, yeah, I get it. But they also announced that the Singapore ship that they acquired from what was that company that they bought that cruise ship that they bought this ship from? I can't remember the name of it, but it'll be sailing out of Singapore. That ship is going to be called the Disney Adventure. So they announced that as well.
Yeah, that ship, once we see the full, that's going to be really interesting to see, because they're basically retrofitting that ship, turning it into a Disney ship. And also
that ship was huge.
It was a very big ship, and it'll also be the first time that the cruises over there, they'll be catering to a specific crowd, the Pacific part of the country, part of the world with Asia. So that ship's gonna probably end up being in the end, so different than all the other.
Very
Disney
different
ships.
than yeah. So. And then we got into Blue Sky stuff again. We got into what's beyond Big Thunder Mountain again. And not a whole lot was revealed about. Bruce Vaughn came out, and it was really interesting because it was really interesting that he came out, and like I got this vibe that he came because he recently came back to Imagineering.
Yeah.
And I got this vibe that he came back and he saw the original plans for whatever they were going to do and was like, no. We're switching this around. We're changing it up. That was the vibe I got from this announcement.
I mean, back in D23 Expo, Zootopia / Moana was sort of tossed out there for Animal Kingdom, which we will get to that in a little bit. And then Encanto, Coco, and Villain's Land were talked about behind Big Thunder Mountain. I think the good things we got out of this conversation is that I think they have finally realized they have to do something about the Magic Kingdom. They've done everything they can to try to get people not to come there as much, and it's not working. And it's just the fact, out of the 3 most visited castle parks, Magic Kingdom, Tokyo Disneyland, and Disneyland, Magic Kingdom has the worst attraction lineup out of all of them, and has I'm pretty sure the least amount of attractions.
I was going to say, just from a number perspective, doesn't Magic Kingdom have a smaller amount? I'd have to look it on paper.
It has a smaller amount.
There's no way Magic Kingdom, excuse me, has more rides than Disneyland. I know that for
Disneyland
a fact.
has more rides because Disneyland and California Adventure combined have almost as many attractions as all of Walt Disney World has. No, Disneyland has, Disneyland and Tokyo Disneyland have an insane amount of attractions. It's way past due. Obviously, we're probably talking, all this not getting done till probably the 60th, but still, with everything we keep hearing, especially, possibly, at least part of Frontierland being turned into something to line up with Tiana's. I know we said this back when D23, we'd all be for a Coco Land. We would all be for Villain Land. And we've heard everything tossed out there about, I'm sure you've heard Haunted Mansion Restaurant that would be, because that whole area from basically mansion, behind the mansion, all the way to Big Thunder would all become connected. Much like Galaxy's Edge is used at Disneyland. And the big thing he talked about is this would be bigger than Galaxy's Edge or Pandora.
I can't remember if it was Bruce or Josh that said that, but they said that, I know Josh said that all of this stuff is about to go into overdrive. What that means, I don't know. But yeah, then I can't remember if it was Bruce or Josh that said this is going to be bigger than Galaxy's Edge.
And remember, I mean, there's a giant piece. We talk about behind Big Thunder. There's still a giant piece of land that's next to Pirates of the Caribbean. If you want to talk about that Moana attraction they showed, it might fit pretty good right there in Adventureland there, right next to Pirates. So I think we definitely Magic Kingdom has been way past due. Tron has been the first attraction added, not taken away or replaced since the original Splash Mountain. We were supposed to get that theater, which would have helped with capacity in the park. That park needs so many more attractions, so much more space to deal with the crowds, because it just cannot handle the crowds it has now. And also the thing, like we were talking, not to get too far off, with Haunted Mansion, is like Disney World's 50 years, Magic Kingdom is 50 years old now. You've got a bunch of classic attractions that realistically need to start doing refurbishments every year, like Disneyland has to do. Some of these attractions are 50, 45 years old. I mean, Space Mountain,
yeah.
Space Mountain is been past due for an entire track replacement. So it's I mean, Tokyo's was built in 1980, early 1980s, and they're replacing their entire Space Mountain.
They're just building a new one behind it, basically.
Yeah, they're just basically building a brand new one. But I mean, Magic Kingdom's not getting any younger, and a lot of these attractions are going to need more TLC. I mean, we're the only small world left that hasn't gotten the update.
Yep.
So it's I think you add in an expansion bigger than Galaxy's Edge with, I would hope, at least 4 attractions plus restaurants, etc. Then you're going to be able to finally, start being able to do these massive refurbs that all these attractions, these older attractions, are going to need on a regular basis. Even if, like Disneyland usually does, most stuff goes down for like a month every year. All the major e-tickets go down for at least a month almost every year now. Mm-hmm. So it's they've got to do something. I think the biggest interesting thing about all the stuff announced for Disney World before we get over to Animal Kingdom is just nothing was really talked about for Hollywood Studios, which for those of us who live here, Hollywood Studios still needs like a couple more attractions.
Yeah, I mean, even with Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, they still need
it
one
just
or two
added
more.
The capacity that the Great Movie Ride and the stunt show used to have. Mm-hmm. It only added a little bit more capacity than that park used to have.
Yeah.
So that park still, and they got plenty of room.
Mm-hmm.
They got a whole parking lot there. They can take out easily if they wanted to. So, but let's get into the big stuff.
Yeah, moving on here over to Animal Kingdom. All this buzz about Zootopia coming to Animal Kingdom. All this buzz about Zootopia Land, and obviously Shanghai is getting Zootopia Land, and Disney's been hyping that up with lots of new photos and videos. We are getting a Zootopia attraction, but it won't be the police car. You're a police officer with Judy Hopps and all that stuff. No, we're getting a replacement for It's Tough to Be a Bug. No name, no details were announced. We got this concept artwork piece. Obviously, you can tell these people are inside. I forgot I have only seen. I'm not familiar with all the characters' names in Zootopia. The police
Hauser.
Yeah, is that the cheetah or jaguar?
Yeah.
That's obviously where Hopper, the animatronic, is. This is all we got was a concept artwork piece, and that it'll be coming to the Tree of Life theater at Disney's Animal Kingdom. What did you think about this announcement, Barry?
Listen, I mean, those of us loved Tough to Be Bug because, whenever the spiders drop down from the ceiling and then the bugs leaving at the end scared the crap out of people. But, most days you could go, that theater's half empty. Mm-hmm. As popular as Bug's Life is, Zootopia is, people I think seem to forget how huge Zootopia was, not just in the U.S. but also around the world. And
It was huge.
I think this is a good compromise for now of bringing Zootopia into a part of Animal Kingdom where it doesn't really affect it thematically. I mean, albeit there is some areas where in the future, if they did want to build a Zootopia at Animal Kingdom, that there's a whole giant area around Conservation Station and all that, which some people had talked about it possibly going back there. But I think for now, it's a good way to update an attraction that really doesn't get the business that it used to get anymore. I expect it's going to be fun, and like I said, if it's something new to do at Animal Kingdom, would I prefer a whole separate new attraction? Because I think this is one thing we'll talk about next with the thing that's been proposed is that Animal Kingdom, just like Hollywood Studios, needs a few more rides. And I think while this is a great update, I still think, hopefully there'll be more coming in the future.
Yeah, I looked up Zootopia's box office numbers, and it made $1.025 billion, $341 million in the U.S. and Canada, and $682 million in other countries.
Yeah.
For a total of $1.024 billion.
Yeah, it was very huge in China, which is why Shanghai is getting Zootopia land. So.
It had a budget of $150 million.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. Kind of bouncing back to Epcot really quick. We got our first look at the Figment character, which will actually be coming to Epcot starting tomorrow. I think that was a big shock. I mean, well, we've been
big giant body, little tiny head.
Yeah,
it's
clearly Figment goes to leg day at the gym.
Yeah. I mean, I almost wish it would have been like something like when they did the Groot.
The baby Groot?
The baby Groot at Hollywood Studios. Yeah, I mean, I almost wish you would have come and interact him on a pedestal or something, which probably would have cost more money than creating a new costume. But hey, to this day, it amazes us the love Figment gets. Considering his attraction now is not the greatest thing.
Mm-hmm.
Those of us who were lucky to ride the original one, it's our like white whale of Disney attractions as far as. Why did they tear this down? And then just look up this backstory on why they tore it down, and it'll just make you angry. Yeah. But no, I think it's great. That Figment is so popular that he finally he used to have a meet and greet with Dreamfinder years ago. Is finally back as a character you can meet and get your picture with, and because he's so I mean, he's on so much Epcot merchandise, and there's a reason why, because he's popular. Everyone loves him. I mean, I know there's some people out there who don't like Figment, but
you can't turn your head at Epcot without seeing Figment merchandise.
No, you can't turn your head, and hey, it's still one of the original things. People should be happy that they're celebrating an original park created character that has become so popular. That they have a meet and greet. That's a good thing. I can't complain about that.
Yep.
In this age of IP. So.
And then I think we can I think that was about it. We did our articles here. And we can kind of go into. I'm going to bring the big concept artwork.
Yes, bring the big baby up.
Let me go back up here to the top of our Twitter. Oh, we forgot to mention they announced later in the day that Soarin' Over California will be coming back to Epcot.
The good Soarin' will be coming back to Epcot.
The good Soarin' will be coming back to Epcot as part of the Disney 100 celebration. So
I'm interested to see if we're not going to get Soarin' Around the World back until they finally do the new finale for it. Because the finale
the ending with the fountain still
is incredibly bad.
Kind of
to watch
dated
now.
Yeah.
I mean the whole movie is not. I've never been a fan of Soarin' around the World. It just so much of I don't know if it's the way it was shot or the way they processed. It just looks.
The CG segments
fake.
Bother me. Like all the stuff they added in with CG, like the whales and the polar bears.
It looks so fake.
The entire Taj Mahal scene being CG'd.
It just looks awful. It's
the Eiffel Tower going like this.
It's the Soarin' Over California has always been the better film, and I love the Disneyland ending better. Sue me, it coming over Disneyland during Christmas time with all the lights and stuff. It's just a better film, and hopefully. I'd be perfectly fine if they just kept that one and just put a new Epcot ending on it.
Right.
Yeah, I would be so fine with that.
So, all right. And then this is kind of going back to the Animal Kingdom stuff that we were talking about a little bit earlier. This is the high resolution concept artwork. They kind of went into the replacement for Dino Land at Animal Kingdom. And during this segment, there was a band at the presentation, and Damaro was talking, and they started playing. Oh God, we don't talk about Bruno.
Yeah,
they started playing "We Don't Talk About Bruno," and then Damaro kept talking, and then the Indiana Jones theme came on. So obviously that was teasing what Disney has planned for the Dino. Excuse me, the Dino Land expansion. Removal. Well, it's already been removed pretty much. I mean,
Parts
all
of
that's
it have
left
been
is
removed.
So they released this high resolution concept artwork, and I think Scott, he did for those of you who don't follow Scott Gustin on Twitter, he kind of took, it looked like an Apple Maps, Google Maps kind of side by side with this. Yeah. And the Encanto area over here to the the Encanto area over here, you can see Casita on the far left hand side, kind of lines up perfectly where what was the dinosaur wild mouse ride? Primeval World. Thank you.
Including there's a big space behind Primeval World. That's got basically that area you're on right now. That's sort of Primeval World. The front yard, basically, of the Casita is where Primeval World is, and where the Casita is,
and obviously
the bathrooms and gift shop.
This restaurant over here is probably Restaurantosaurus.
To your right. To your right.
This over here.
That's Restaurantosaurus.
Yeah,
it lines up perfectly. Like, compared to some of the blue sky artwork we saw at D23, this is very firm looking concept art as far as this is what we're pitching with.
Yep.
Type of concept art. This is incredibly detailed. It, like you said, if you match it up with Google Maps or some of the aerial shots we've seen from our friend BioReconstruct, it lines up very perfectly with everything that's in there right now as far as repurposing, down to that pyramid that's in the back corner there, which when they started this whole segment, I was like, wait a second, what's that pyramid in the back corner there, before we even got to the little
Indiana Jones
music. And I was like, bringing Indiana Jones, for anyone who knows, Dinosaurs, the same exact track, same exact ride system, same exact layout as Indiana Jones Adventure at Disneyland and at Tokyo Disney Sea.
Yep.
And that pyramid there looks a lot like the facade for Indiana Jones and what was a Crystal Skull, Temple of the Crystal Skull, I think they call it. At Tokyo Disney Sea, which is based in Mexico, not Asia, like the original Indiana Jones Adventure. So this is something you and I have talked about since podcast days. This has been a rumor that's been going on for years. Finally taking Dinosaur and changing it to Indiana Jones. And the talk has been, that this area would be a sort of not just South America, they called it, what was it, tropical America?
Here's a look at the Tokyo.
Yeah, look at the Tokyo one.
Temple. There's a look at the Tokyo Temple.
And by the way, if you thought I'm sure I remember it probably is in. If you guys want to go back, and you can go to our Tokyo Disneyland playlist on our YouTube channel. The queue for this thing is nuts. Not that I don't know if we would get that type of queue here. It very much looks like it would use the same area as the dinosaur queue. And theirs, as much as I love the Disneyland, theirs is the better one because they do a better job of keeping it in good condition.
Yeah.
But it would fit perfectly here. I know there's a lot of people that love Dinosaur, but Dinosaur is a shell of what it used to be.
Yeah.
It's not a good attraction anymore. I know some people are like, it's my top 5. It's like, I don't even think it's in my top 10 Disney World attractions.
As I posted on my personal Twitter right before we went live here, I am shocked at how many people were. I mean, I get being upset about Dinosaur going because it's a fun ride, but like you said, it's in bad shape. It's at the point where it either needs to go or it needs a serious refurbishment overhaul. But I was shocked at how many people said Dinosaur was their number 1 attraction at Walt Disney World. I'm like, what other rides have you people ridden?
Yeah, I think it has to do with what your age is.
Yeah.
For a lot of millennials, and I'm not trashing millennials. Almost all my friends are millennials. It's their first thrill ride.
Mm-hmm.
It was their first thrill ride.
Yeah.
And so they have an attachment to it. Where some of us who were older when we rode it were like, oh, it was so much better when it was Countdown to Extinction. And then remember the first year or two, it was a little bit more intense.
I remember Countdown to Extinction
before they as some of us like to say, dumbed it down a little bit. To the point,
and they continue to.
And then they continue to just take stuff away and not fix it. And to the point now where, some people have talked about, they tease this, based on like a lot of stuff we've seen online, this thing's very, very close to being greenlit. Like just looking at the concept art alone, none of the blue sky stuff we've seen before has had this level of detail on the concept art. This makes more sense than the Zootopia Moana thing. And people were like, well, it doesn't have a conservation. I hate to tell you guys, the conservation idea
out the window.
It's out the window now. I mean, I think some people like me, that we've talked to online today are like, as long as we get capybaras, little that I think used to be around Discovery Island, but I don't think they're there anymore. As long as we get, I think as long as you get some in, with the landscaping they show in this concept art, there's definitely going to be some animal habitats in this.
They teased the tropical. They called it the Tropical Americas.
Yeah, Tropical Americas. That's what it was.
Yeah, the Encanto and Indiana Jones area. So they can certainly incorporate animals from that kind of area and implement them into these two new expansions.
If they go with people like, oh well, I hope it's a new Indiana Jones story. It's like, we're gonna be lucky if it's just Crystal Skull. If they go with the Mexico theme for that, which obviously with the pyramid, I'm assuming they're gonna go with Mexico, and then Encanto takes place in Colombia, so you have a mixture of the Latin America, even though technically Mexico is part of North America. But I guess that's why they're calling it Tropical Americas. I think, that this works more thematically for Animal Kingdom than the idea of putting Zootopia and Moana in there does. And I think, I know some the other, people have an attachment to Dinoland because they grew up with it, but it's seen better days. It's clear that they have been looking for something to put into that location for a while now. It's just, we've had Donald Duck's Dino Bash for how many years now? And even that's not what it used to be. They really are just running Dinosaur enough to keep it open.
Last time I rode that, it's in rough shape. You can tell they're not dumping money into it. They're just
no, they're keeping it enough to keep it open. They're
keeping it alive at this point.
They're repairing stuff as it breaks, and then not doing anything major.
Yeah.
I think one of the Carnosaurs was the last really major thing they worked on in there, and even then, they don't work half the time. So it's like they, and obviously removing Primeval Whirl, it's due for something new. And now, fingers crossed, there's some back and forth about what's going in the casita. Are they going to cheap out and just do a meet and greet, or are we going to get what I think, and I'm not the only one who said this, would make the most sense, a Mystic Manor type of attraction?
Yeah.
I have no problems with them using the same exact layout as Mystic Manor in Hong Kong, and the whole casita and Encanto would be a really good use of that style of attraction.
I mean, Mystic Manor is just like Casita. The house comes alive, and it
would be perfect for that type of attraction, and that would be, I guess, the bonus would be to get another e-ticket, and aka a dark ride, at Animal Kingdom, which like we've said before, we both said, all of us here at ThrillGeek said multiple times, why are there not more dark rides in Animal Kingdom?
Yep.
AKA, why is there not a Lion King ride? It still blows my mind to this day that there's not a Lion King ride. But
there was the whole debate we had about, over the last week or two leading up to Destination D23 about the whole Zootopia thing, the cop ride coming. It doesn't need to go here.
No.
I posted on my personal
also the fact
Twitter.
that it's a cop ride. There's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Having that type of attraction here that just would not sit well with a lot of people.
But I posted on my personal Twitter, and I got a lot of really cool responses about what would you like to see it go in Dinoland? And there were a lot of people that said a Lion King ride, a Lion King. I don't think you could really.
The only thing it has to go in Africa. You can't just slap a Lion King ride over in Dinoland. It's got to go somewhere in Africa.
Yeah.
And if you want to take out the show, I'd be perfectly fine with that.
But
it's ran for long enough.
Yeah, and there were a lot of people that said Lion King. I can't remember some of the other replies, but there were some really interesting replies.
Lion King, Jungle Book.
Yeah. Yeah, there were.
That's just off the top of my head,
But there were a lot of interesting replies as to what people would rather see go into Dinoland instead of a Zootopia ride. Well, it looks like we got a pretty concrete. Concept artwork piece of what will possibly be coming.
And it also looks like, if you look at the bottom center there, that's probably going to be a spinner ride. Whether they're going to
this one right here,
they didn't enclose the Triceratops, or if it would be a new Animal King doesn't have a carousel.
Yeah.
An animal carousel or something, so it's there's definitely going to be, they're definitely going to keep a flat ride, I feel like, in whatever they do here. And like I said, even if they, we're talking, if they finally greenlight this in the next year, we're talking 4 years.
Yeah.
You imagine whatever, no construction is going to start until they do Zootopia first.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be interesting to see if they do this in phases. If this comes to fruition, whether they go ahead and wipe out Dinorama,
and start on the Encanto,
first before closing down. Even though redoing Dinosaur to India is still it's gonna be a mass. That might be more complicated than building a completely brand new Casita attraction.
Yeah.
So they might just, in interest of time, probably time and saving time, they might just close all of Dinoland down all at once. But I think bare minimum, this is not going to happen until after the Zootopia update to the Tree of Life is done, because you're going to need something new, because that park's going to lose a lot of capacity by taking out Dinosaur. So
yeah,
and taking out Dinosaur and Restaurantsaurus and a couple of the other stands over there. It's just that's a huge chunk of capacity in that park. That's going to get wiped out.
Pretty much that whole corner of the park, really.
Yeah, but in the end run would be adding more capacity to the attraction capacity to the park if fingers crossed, the Casita actually gets a full-blown e-ticket attraction, which I don't know how you not do this land without doing that. To me, it would be almost a waste if there's not a real major attraction for Encanto to go with the land. So
yeah. So all right, that's it. That's our recap of Destination D23 today. We do have recap articles. We kind of categorized it. We did an article for EPCOT. We did an article for Magic Kingdom. I did not do an article on this. I may throw it up. The Disney Cruise Line stuff is up there. And what else? Trying to think. But yeah, most of this stuff is pretty much up on the website. I may throw together a small article with this concept artwork, briefly talking about it, so you guys can check that out. But if you guys want to go back and check out the announcements for EPCOT, Magic Kingdom, I think I did a separate article for Ahsoka coming to Star Tours and all that stuff. You guys can check it out there. So other than that, we're going to get on out of here. Thanks everybody for watching, tuning in. We appreciate you guys as always. We will be back here, like I said, Tuesday evening for our Halloween Horror Nights 2023 first impressions episode, or stream, I should say. I think we're going to have pretty much the whole crew back. I think Emily will be here. Janine will be here. So we're going to kind of go over our initial impressions of Halloween Horror Nights 2023. So look for that next Tuesday right here on our YouTube channel. And I might throw it up on the Twitch again as well. 8:30 p.m. probably our usual start time on Tuesday. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, we got some stuff.
I'm excited to finally go back tomorrow. So
I know.
I've been going stir crazy. So
yeah. I imagine it hasn't been. It's no fun getting the old COVID and being stuck in quarantining and. We've all, most of us have been there.
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of our friends have gone through this again lately in the last month. So
yeah, I mean, excuse me. Even after post HHN, there were several people that, if they didn't get the COVID, they just got the usual HHN funk, as we all call it. So, anywho, gonna get on out of here. Barry, tell everybody
I'm gonna skip the whole spiel this time because I don't think my voice can handle it.
Your voice can handle it.
But I'm at Culture and Thrills on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. And be sure to check. Please follow my TikTok. I've got a lot of fun videos up there now.
And as far as Thrill Geek, you guys know where to follow us: Twitter, Facebook,
everywhere,
YouTube, Instagram, Threads. Make sure you're following our TikTok. I've been really honing in on our TikTok, posting some really fun videos of Horror Nights. Our Stranger Things TikTok got like over 300,000 views or something crazy like that. It blew up and went nuts.
Yeah, it's great this year. If you want to see the houses in vertical video, you can go to TikTok. If you want to see the houses in horizontal video, go to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, we have. I updated our guide with. We now have all 10 haunted house videos, all 5 scare zone walkthrough videos. I got the tribute store walkthrough video up today, so all of the Halloween Horror Nights videos are up on our YouTube channel. Go give our YouTube channel some love, subscribe, like the videos, do all the YouTube stuff. We appreciate all the help.
And we'll be posting more HHN content to our TikTok throughout the event. So
yeah, we have lots more stuff coming to, like I said, TikTok, we've been really pushing and trying to grow our TikTok because vertical video is all the rage. So yeah. If you have a TikTok and you're not following us, make sure you're following us there. So anyways, guys, we're out of here. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys here next Tuesday. This Tuesday, I should say. Coming up in Sunday, Monday, 3-4 days. That Tuesday. For our Halloween Horror Nights 2023 first impressions kind of overview of the event. So anyways, you can follow me personally on Twitter and Instagram. I am CG83 for those of you that aren't doing that. So make sure you're doing that. And we will, let me get my outro queued up here. There it is. Take care, guys. Be safe. And we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Stay safe. See you in the parks.